In today's video, we're going to talk about getting your wages garnished or a bank levy, how to deal with it. Because a lot of people right now, these debt collectors, they are using this on a lot of people. So many, there's thousands. There's news reports about it. People are making comments on YouTube. It is like one of the number one things that is happening. Debt collectors are starting to utilize, number one, the bank levy option, and they're utilizing it in states that they used to just do the regular garnishment, where they're actually, this is what they do, is that they look at how you're paying your bills. They look at your bills and your consumer debts, your credit cards and all of that. You might be saying, well, Steve, how do they know how I'm paying my bills? They know because they look at your credit reports. How do you know that they have access to your credit reports? Well, if you have a collection, wasn't they able to put that collection on your credit reports? So they have access to everything that you do, the way that you live your life. So what they do is if you don't respond to that court summons, you allow them to get a judgment. You allow them to go back into court to get the order to garnish your wages. Now, you might be thinking, well, they're going to send that to my employer. Well, no. What they're starting to do now is they're sending that to your bank. And your bank is not going to do like your employer and say, hey, you're about to be garnished. Here's this letter, so you need to, be prepared. We're going to take that out of your check. No, what the bank will do is you just go into the bank one day and all of a sudden your money is gone. Your money will be gone. So please like this video right now, because I'm about to give you a lesson on why this happens to so many people, why it happened to me in the past, so I don't take myself out of it. I'm just like you. And why this will consistently happen to more and more people. And it has nothing actually to do with the debt itself, other than that's the situation that you're in. But it actually has to do with the mindset. Now, I'm going to use this analogy. Have you ever, let's just say that you have a child. You have a child and they're playing sports, or they're a singer, or like they're trying to do something to either, to be involved with something. And then you as an adult, you're like telling them, you're giving them advice. You need to do this. You need to do it that way. You need to do this way. You need to watch out for that. Like you're giving them all of that advice. So what I want you to understand is that what you're doing is you're taking your life experience and you're putting that on a child. Now you might be saying, well, Steve, how does that deal with me? Like, what does that have to do with this debt? What does that have to do with this levy of my bank account? Well, it has a lot to do with it. See, what you're doing is that you're the child and you don't know what to do. You sometimes may not even listen, or you may not even take action. So when someone is telling you, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to watch out for, I'm taking my life experience and putting it right there on you. And the number one thing that I want you to understand right now in this video, please like this video right now. This is the number one thing. This is the number one thing. As if you were my adult child, because you would have debts, not a little child. If you were my adult child, I would be telling you this right now, is that I would say you need to pay attention to this at the beginning and not let it balloon up to get to what I'm about to get into right now about having your account levied. All of this starts at the beginning. Like just like you would tell your child the fundamentals at the beginning, practice, get in there on time, being present, all of that stuff. That is the same thing that you have to do and be in the present right now to deal with the debts, debt collectors, whatever you're going through financially. It's like you got to be in the now. And whatever you don't understand, you get information and then you put it into action now. You don't let it just marinate and just boil up into something worse. do it now. So let's get into what you got to do. I would say that 80% of the contacts that come to the credit repair shop right now is dealing with this right here. How debt collectors are levying bank accounts, and they're starting to levy bank accounts in states where they would just easily be able to go in and get garnishments, but they're not even going to trying to get a garnishment. They're just going straight into the bank account, freezing bank accounts, taking the money out, and it leaves the person like just really emotional, don't know what to do. It's very tough. If you've went through it, you know what I'm trying to say. I just can't even express it. Is that you wake up in the morning, you're trying to go your day-to-day activities, getting ready to go to work. Maybe you go to the store, Starbucks or something, to get some coffee, and your debit card doesn't work. You look at your bank account and it says zero. You look at your bank account and it says zero. I don't want you to have that situation. This could happen for any debt that you have. Don't think just because you have a small debt and they're not going to try to do this stuff to you. Yes, they will, because they're not in the game of playing games. They're in the game of collecting money. The reason why they got to collect that money is because they had investors who gave them money and said, hey, you go buy this debt. We want a return on investment on this money that we give you. And you don't get a return on investment on money if you play around and let people say, oh, I'm going to pay you, I'm not going to pay you, this and that. No, they are going to put together a process. And once they see that something is working, you're going to start seeing all of the debt collectors start doing it. At one point, the debt collectors would get the default judgments, and then they would go back into court, get the garnishments. Like, it was that easy. People wasn't even responding. Still to this day, like 95% of the people don't even show up to court. And then a large percentage of the 5% that's left, 4%, they don't even know how to respond. They just show up because they're just a personality of, hey, I'm just going to show up. And then that 1% knows their rights, and they do what's necessary to stop debt collectors. So even with that formula, debt collectors have been winning. But this takes it up a notch, because now, rather than going to that next step of, hey, go to your employer, you might switch jobs or do something else. No, it's like a sneak attack. Get the money, freeze the account, they get the money, go back to court, get another freeze. So when your money goes in there, they automatically take it. And the thing about it, with a garnishment, they're going to be able to only take, 25%. With a freeze, they can take all of it. I've had clients where they came to us, they said one said they had $15,000 in the account, and they took all $15,000. They would have never been able to garnish $15,000 unless that person was making what, 45, like $90,000, or because they would only be able to get 25%, maybe it's a little bit less, 45,000, like 60,000. If they were making $60,000 per pay period, they would have been able to get $15,000 if they went the garnishment route. That would be the max. But because they did the levy, they were able to take $15,000. So this is the deal. This is the deal. This is, when I say knowing where you are at right now, like being in the now, this is what has to happen to even get to this situation. So if you're looking down the barrel at something like this, this is what is happening, so you can be in the now and say, hey, it was just because I didn't pay attention. I take responsibility because I didn't pay attention. So for them to even get to that point, they have to take legal action. They have to take have a civil lawsuit against you. If you respond or don't respond, because you can lose. Nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed in a civil lawsuit. They could win, or if they get a default judgment, the next step they're going to do is they get that judgment, and then they're going to go back to court to seek that order. That order is going to be to get a levy on your bank account. They're going to take that letter and they're going to send that to the bank, and the bank is going to put a freeze on your account. Any monies that come in, whatever amount they have on that form, they're going to be able to take that amount of money. So they're going to get that order, a specific request for a dollar amount, or up to, well, it's really going to be a request for a dollar amount, but they'll be able to take whatever is in there. And then they're going to send that to the bank to freeze your account. So now, you have rights. You have more rights than you even know, but you have to know where you're at in the situation to be able to do it. So if they've taken your money, at that point, it's not really about going about the judgment. That's going to be part of it, but it's going to be more focused on getting your money back. What are the options that are available to you to be able to get your money back? Because that's what's going to be able to help you right now. Yes, you're going to, if you could get it vacated, you're going to be able to go back into court, fight it, initiate your rights, maybe do a settlement, whatever that ends up looking like. But right now, we need to get your money back in your hands so you can pay that car bill, so you can pay that rent, so you can pay that mortgage. So we need to look at your exemptions. A lot of people don't know that they are actually exempt from being able to have their money taken from their account. They're even exempt even if they were going to try to take it regular from a garnishment on your paycheck. I have videos on exemptions, and I want you to search out the videos. All you have to do is go to my channel and you search out the exemptions of garnishment, and I have several videos on that. And then you go back in and you request to have that judgment vacated. And then other things that you can do is that you can request that they release it due to economic hardship. They must leave money in there for your living expenses. Now, there's some other stuff. I just made some other videos. And this is one. In my state of Wisconsin, what they have available is they call it a poverty guideline. No, you don't have to be in poverty to qualify. It's basically, if you have a certain amount of dependents, you have to make over a certain amount of money to be able to be garnished or to even have your account levied. But also, what I found doing some research for a potential client, just to, saying, hey, you can either be our client, but I'm going to do this research for you just to help you out, is that in Alabama, this is where this person, hope you're watching this video and you need to like this video right now. All of you like this video, but especially you in Alabama, because I found something that is actually wrote in your state constitution. So this is like taking it a step further. In most states, they just have, these are the garnishment laws or the levy laws, stuff like that. But this is actually wrote in the Alabama Constitution. It says that for every pay period, according to 204 of Article X, Alabama Constitution, that you are allowed to keep $1,000 per pay period. So if you get paid every week, $1,000, if you can prove that amount of money goes towards your living expenses, and they give a worksheet for it, that you are exempt from being able to have that money either levied or garnished. That is a big deal, because if you could just prove that amount, hey, I need this money to live on. They were not specific on what they meant by living on, or at least I wasn't able to find it in there, but you can do your research and you can find what they mean by living expenses. This is another avenue that you should look for in your state. Now, something else that I found for another live chat question is an individual in California, and they were wondering what could they do about their garnishment. And I did more research, and this is something that I've actually seen before, but I sent them the links, and there is actually a 2-form questionnaire in the state of California where you can either file for a full blown out 100% exemption of the garnishment or the levy, or you can request, they have it written into their law that you can request a reduction based on financial hardship. This is very important for both of these. What it does is, number one, even if you cannot prove you have $1,000 per week or $1,000 per pay period in household expenses, which I believe everybody that's watching this video would probably be able to come close to, or even being over that, because I get a lot of requests, is that you would be able to get this put into a good either settlement opportunity, or you would be able to lower the amount that they're going to be taking per pay period. See, all of this is about you taking your power to negotiate, saying, hey, this is my position, this is what the law states, and I'm initiating my rights. And you have to listen to this. You have to give me the opportunity. You can't just run all over me. So in Alabama, they have that. In my state of Wisconsin, they have the poverty guideline. In California, they have a two-page form where you can actually request a reduction, and then it will be reviewed. Or you can actually ask for a full exemption based off of your hardship. All right. If you need help with your credit, please visit us, thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, what makes us different, so you can see my 8-point validation process, my 2-phase settlement process. That's the way we repair credit. No overnight promises. It takes work. Potentially, you could have settlements to resolve your situation, but I will tell you, we will take you from A to Z if you allow us to do the work, and you do your part when we request that you do your part. And if you talk to my customer service team, and we do have a team, it's not a one-man show. I have employees that work full time, so they will get the job done. And if something, comes up, we work to resolve it. We don't leave you hanging. We work to resolve it. We answer our phone. We answer our emails. We do get around to people. We have a very good system in place. And if you want to work with us, we invite you to work with us. If you need your credit reports and scores, very important. You can't move forward without knowing the data. The data is what's important. Remember when I said, know where you are now. Take that information, place it to where you are right now. If I was giving you advice, it would be know the information, and then you proceed on moving forward. You can't move forward without having all of the information. So if you need your credit reports and scores, TransUnion, Equifax, Experian credit reports in all 3 scores, all of the data, furniture information, addresses, everything, so you can tackle this credit and debt issue, go to the website, your3scores.com. Grab those reports. If you have debt collectors coming after you early in the game, remember I said, giving you that advice, what can you do thinking in the now and not letting stuff just get disregarded and just stew up and balloon up, and then all of a sudden you have something like this happening to you. Grab my 3-pack of letters. Statute of limitations for debt that is past the legal statute of limitations to collect. That is still happening to this day. Debt validation letter and cease and desist collection activities letter. I give you the instructions on those. I do ask for a donation when you download those, but it can save you time, money, frustration, and it can